you know, it's fine. I find it very strange, to be honest, when you read some terrible news like the sad, very, very sad death of Charlie Kirk. You know, a lot of people said to me, did you know him? I didn't know him, but he came to the studio on a number of occasions. And I met him also over in the US. And to be honest with you, and this is the beauty about this channel, you can just be honest with people. You know, I didn't really know who he was. And you've got to remember, in a TV studio, people come in all the time as guests. It's interchanging, you know, so there's a news guest or whatever. And this is the truth. I ended up making him a cup of coffee because we got a new coffee machine. He couldn't work it. I wasn't so sure. We ended up bonding and having a laugh over that. And I said to him, what do you do? And he used that phrase at that time, I'm an influencer. And I thought, right, okay. And you know, when you're not sure, when you're not sure what that sort of thing means, but you're like, oh, all right, but you don't want to appear dumb. I then realized by talking to him what an intelligent man he was. He was very nice, very warm, and very kind, in fact, you know, because let me tell you, you notice this about people, don't you? He brought his cup back, you know, from the green room and put it on the tray. And I thought, well-mannered, you know. And I'm not being glib or anything like that. I just wanted to share that with you because it's important that, you know, you see two sides of the people. When you are in a television studio, the politics of things, it doesn't really matter. You know, they either come in, they're very nervous. He said he'd become very successful. And, you know, obviously over here in a certain area, he was well known, but, you know, not that well known at that point. Bumped into him again, nice guy, got on well, and he was just saying how well it was going. It's strange though, isn't it? Because you think you know people, and then you find, well, people like this. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for your time today. It's always lovely to have your company. So you would have thought somebody might have had a little bit of decorum, but this former BBC star, right, and I use that term loosely, famous really for winning a competition through popularity over here at the Great British Bake Off, Nadia Hussain, decided to be incredibly disrespectful. I mean, beyond disrespectful, you know, by posting these, well, I won't even repeat them, but terrible comments about someone who tragically passed away. And as you can see, I've put them at the side of the screen now. What I find abhorrent about this is that clearly the character that we thought we knew in this particular individual is nothing like the character at all. Now, you know, she played it very nice for 10 plus years on a very lucrative contract from the BBC. And the BBC rightly decided, after, you know, giving her a lot of money, to say, well, that's it, you know, we kind of finished. And so she took to social media, basically doing the usual thing of, you know, the race card, it wouldn't happen if I was a white person, etc. Rubbish, you know, contracts just run out in television. And that's the thing. And suddenly, you know, you're in or you're out. If you keep reinventing yourself, then you're very clever. You know, somebody like Jamie Oliver's been at it now 25 plus years, I think. And he's just a very clever guy because clearly he moves with the times, whether it's vegan, nutrition. This lady was known for doing cakes and all sorts of stuff. Nice, pleasant, but clearly not that nice, not that pleasant the moment that she got booted. As I say, she took to social media with a plethora of bad news on a very, well, you know, dark day for many people around the world. And the one thing that I would say, which is incredible when you think is, you've built up, you know, over 10 years, an incredible following. You've amassed a big fortune via lots of books and television series and, you know, speaking events, you know, good housekeeping and all that sort of stuff. Why would you want to show that side of you? Even if you genuinely thought that, why would you put that in the public domain? Because this will be now what you're known for. And truly, there is no coming back from something like this because the bottom line is it's there in black and white. And the reason why I highlight this is I just think we should all be a little nicer to each other because genuinely we never know what the next day is going to bring. And truly, niceness, kindness, just having a laugh, being polite to each other, despite what your political beliefs are, whether you agree or disagree. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, right? And more importantly, I think this individual needs to remember that because after all, she claims her religion is all about tolerance and peace. Hard to find it with this sort of headline. Anybody else agree? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.